And we are back with the floor repair section of our video. So we've had this open for a while and exposed, let it dry out a little bit. As you can see, the color has changed a little bit, but the wood is still pulling up. The white is mold. You can see it's just picking up. There's nothing left of it. It's just gone. So the next part of the process is I'm going to slowly start peeling this away and figure out what's left, because there's a insulation right below this. I don't want to just start hacking away too much at it. I'm going to start slowly peeling it away. I don't want to poke through the insulation or any of that subfloor, because sometimes they have a tarp or that plastic cardboard stuff underneath it. So we're going to peel all this up and just keep poking away at it as far as we need to go back until we find the good wood. So it's just a slow process. Since this is white mold, you're going to want to wear a mask or a respirator to not breathe this in while you're going through the process. So I'm going to dig all this out and show you. Alright, here it is with everything mostly pulled up by hand that I can get. Peel out as much as I could underneath that edge. So what we'll do is we'll cut it back and we'll take a board and kind of slide it underneath there. You'll see that later part. We dug out as much of the dead wood as we could. Went down. That's actually pretty decent stuff right there, just kind of surface mold. We'll backplate it underneath with wood along with screwing across the top. Down here, the structural just kind of got to around here. This beam right here, it's actually rotted. It's just falling apart. So we'll have to plate that side on side with some more wood to reinforce this lower substructure to make sure that'll be safe. As it is, it's probably fine because this is not like a high stress area, because it's just mostly bed space and underneath cabinet storage. So it's not a terrible concern, but it will be reinforced to be done right. And it looks like at some point some animals got in here, because we got some acorns. That doesn't mean I currently have a problem. That just means at some point something got in there, which could have been from the manufacturer. If it was in transition or between finishing and final product, things like that, it could have had an animal get in there. But there's no other signs of an animal being in there other than the acorn, so that's just kind of a funny joke at this point. But that is what we're looking at. That's everything pulled up by hand. So the next step of the process is we're going to take a straight edge and a marker and mark out our edge. We're going to draw lines there across the front, and then take Sawzall oscillating tool, whatever we have, and cut out an edge. So that way we get to the good wood, we can measure the proper thickness that we need to get a replacement. And then our new replacement board we can get and cut to a fine edge, because this would be not fun to try to match a board to. So that way all the lines and everything will match up as best as possible moving forward. But that's what it looks like with it all out of there. I try to get as much of the wood as we can out of it. I'll dig more as we go, because you don't have to peel it out of there. It just doesn't flop around as you go down the road, so it looks nicer without it there. We did end up getting a bucket's worth out of there, so that was quite a bit of rotted wood, but not as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. Alright, so we've got a line. I like to draw straight lines, just use a straight edge. Got it marked out where I'm going to cut out. I'm going to do an angle there, and then I'll go straight across there at the seam. There's no right or wrong way for what size or how you're supposed to draw the square or what you want to cut out. I just try to go with what works. I'm going to do an angle there. It shouldn't be a problem to fit back everything back together. So that's what I worked with. There's no right or wrong way to do it. This is what I like to use to cut it out. An oscillating tool with a wood cut edge, because it helps on these areas where I can plunge it and run the line straight through. You can use a Sawzall, you can use a skill saw. These oscillating tools work out pretty nice for projects like this. So now we've got it all cut out. Pretty simple stuff right here. It does not have to be perfect, straight lines or anything like that. And I'll show you why with the coming videos of what we're going to do to patch it all together and how we're going to make these seams transition without ever knowing they're there. But as you can see, it's cut out. The key thing is to get to the fresh wood. This one came from over here in this spot, and you can see this is good, clean wood edge. There's no moisture, there's no rot, so this would be what we can work with. One nice thing about having this is once you have this good clean edge, you get to measure it. That shows the thickness. So we're looking at 5/8 inch board, just like that. So now we know what thickness to look for when we go to the lumber yard for a board to replace it with, because they make it all different thicknesses. You want to find the one that matches the best, so there's no bumps in your transitions. So we're going to get a new piece of plywood. We're going to get some 2x4s. 2 go on each side of this board, there and there. Run it down this entire length and tie it into here. We're going to move these screws that are in there still, get them out of the way. We're probably going to have a couple chunks of board that'll go underneath and screw here and screw there. So the whole seam is tied in nice and tight. But you'll see that in the coming videos. But right now, the next thing we need to do is go get some lumber. I'm looking for some 5/8 and some 2x4s. We'll show you the next step of the process.